guys, H.A.B Outdoors here. My name is Tyron Schmidt. Today we're going to give a little video of our Mako 17 Pro skiff. We're going to give you some of the pros, a lot of the pros, and a very few of the cons. And I shouldn't say cons, maybe things I think that, you know, Mako can improve on, change some things to kind of help your average fisherman out. This is our Mako 17 Pro skiff. It's been a real good boat to us. I had a Mako prior. It was an 18 LTS, which really did a fantastic job. Fit the family real good. Everybody's able to fish on it, a lot of comfort. This one kind of goes above and beyond in my opinion. You have the nice big flat deck in the front. You can see right here you have a spot here and here if you want to put a trolling motor. We don't use trolling motors. I don't. We usually are able to get to where we want to get with ease. So let's look at some of the compartments here. Get up here. Okay. This compartment here, you know, I got my first aid kit in there, some other stuff. I don't know why I got a lighter in there. Anyway, but good hinges, stainless steel hinges. You could, if you wanted to, make it a dry box. If you wanted to put some rubber seal right in here, and I'll show you what they did on the front box. It did the same thing, but it doesn't drain anywhere. It actually drains straight down at the bottom, in the middle of the boat, runs out the back, so it's not an issue. Our box here. This is our big box, okay? Got your two nice hydraulic hinges there. They work real good. We got our storage in here. It ain't got much, just got life jackets. I put some black rubber mats down just to kind of keep things from scratching up if we ever, you know, get in that spot where I throw something hard in there. But real good storage. And you see right here where they put this rubber seal, okay? Runs all the way around it. You can see that all the way around it. This actually is a dry box. You can actually put stuff in here and it will stay dry, okay? I know some of the other versions, the older model versions, wasn't that, the versions wasn't that way where they could, you could put something in there and keep it dry, but now you can actually keep it pretty dry, so that's pretty cool, man. That helps out a lot, okay? Close that up. Good locking hinges here, you know, once you lock it, fold it down, it ain't coming open. Now let's turn around here and look at some of the other features. So this dry box here, kind of a pain in the butt when I first got it. I don't blame Mako. I blame the place where I bought it. They didn't pay attention. So let's open her up. Inside, it's supposed to be a bait well. Here's the issue I had. So the drain right here, if you look at that, that's your drain right there. It goes down into underneath the center console, and it has like a T there. It can drain, you know, it drains from here, and it's a drain there and an overflow here that run to the same line and go out the back. Well, what had happened was when Mako put it together, they probably got too much of that sealant in there when they plugged it together, and anyway, plugged it, wouldn't drain. So of course when you buy it, they're supposed to do a complete walkthrough. They said they did. We got it. It never worked right. So, you know, again, I don't blame Mako. If they would have actually tested it like they said they would have, they'd have discovered that problem, and they could have fixed it. I won't say where I bought it. Let's just say I blame them. Okay, so you probably saw this pole here. Let me tell you something about this pole real quick. A lot of the guys use power poles now. Number one, they're kind of expensive. Number two, this fiberglass rod, which what you see here is just a typical knob I got from Walmart, I believe. You put on end of chairs or whatever just to keep from scuffing the floor, punching a hole in the floor. I put that over this 1-inch fiberglass rod. This is just shrink wrap I kind of put on it. I bought the rod at Granger for $75. It's 10 feet long, and its tensile strength is 100,000 pounds. In other words, you will not break it, okay? I don't care what you do. And this is actually the rod that they put in concrete now instead of rebar. So very strong, like it a lot. See here, I got some fish tape there, rulers. Got them over here. Just a kind of a quick way to look at the fish. Although by law you're supposed to use the certified fish stick, which I don't have. I kind of go by that. I know if I'm at the limit or if I'm not. So scrolling back through here, oh, on the side of the console here, got you a couple little compartments there for we use our little fish grabbers, knife, little bait net. It has one rod holder, but that's what I put the stuff in. Over here you have 4 rod holders. Now I will say this, I like the rod holders, I like the placement of them. Biggest problem I have is the durability of them. So they're in this plastic, okay? This plastic is nice, good, thick plastic, but the screws they use are they're very fine, not coarse, so they strip out easier. And so what I've found is if you put the rods in there, there's no issue. But if you try to put a maybe like a fish net or something in there, it when the wind catches it when you're driving, it'll actually put enough force on it to run them loose. So other than that, I've had no issues. Up here on the dash, it comes with your little built-in cup holder that's got a hole in the bottom so water will drain. Right here, I put me a little, it's actually my little Garmin GPS, depth finder, fish finder, slash all that stuff. I don't ever hardly ever use it. Cable that goes to it, just kind of drill through, set it down. This is kind of a basic package deal. Again, the, I don't know what that is, dead bug or something. Not very fancy, but it gets the job done, okay? Got your RPM gauge there. Very good steering. I'll walk you through on something on that in a minute that I found to be I don't want to see a con, but I see it on a lot of different boats, not just this boat. So we come down here, we have our switches, which are very basic, very self-explanatory. You know, from your main breaker to your battery cutoff switch to everything else, okay? Sorry about the camera work. I'm trying to do this in here. This new gimbal I bought, and you got to kind of get used to it. So, gear shifter, have the tilt and trim on the motor. So, kind of stand out, look back. It comes with a nice ice chest, you know, in an aluminum frame. The frame's real good. I like the Mako shark logo right there on the back. You can flip it forward, front to back, you know, if you want to change direction, if you want to fish out of the back, kind of stay there. I put me a couple rod holders in here, which have helped out a bunch. Just when I'm fishing by myself, I just kind of hose the net there too. But when I'm fishing by myself, now we'll say this boat does come with a removable fuel tank, you know, your old school style tank. And I've got a 6-gallon here, and I put another 6-gallon on this side. One 6-gallon tank will run me to where I want to go with 4 people in the boat, loaded down with fish. And that's not a bragging comment, that's true. Loaded down with fish, 4 people will get me where I want to go and back. That's it. No driving around and just looking around. You've got to get there and back. Okay, so I get that other 6-gallon tank, put it in there. I don't have to worry about anything. If I want to joyride a little bit or do some sightseeing, you know, it's not a big issue. Get it back where I want to go. So, back to this. Let me just explain this a little bit. So what I did here, I drilled some holes in the bottom. Okay. Now this is a true dry box, and I want to mention anybody's got one of these boats. This right here, if you unscrew it, that allows the amount of water that your bilge pump pushes through to fill up your tank. Also, if you're running, you want to have it closed all the way to the right tight, because if not, you have a little suction that builds up back there. It'll squirt water in there. We used to throw our wallet and stuff like that in there, and I was wondering why I was getting wet and never knew. Turned out that's what it was. You know, brain dead move. Come over here, you have another bait well. Now this one I do use. This one works just fine, no problem. I've used it a couple times. Actually, what I'll do is throw fish in there, and you know, if we're having a slow day, I'll throw them in there, keep them alive and everything. Don't put them on a string or stress them out or nothing. Just throw them in there, and if things ain't going right, well, if we only get 1 or 2, I usually let them go, keep them alive. So, what is that in there? Okay. The motor. Now, I went with a 60 horse EFI, and I'm going to tell you, this motor is plenty for this boat. Plenty for this boat. Runs great, pushes good, jumps on planes super fast. No issues whatsoever. Okay, I'm going to open the calendar here in a minute and show you that. But for the most part, that's inside the boat, you have a little access port there. You can unscrew, get in there, look at your bilge pumps and whatnot. So let me get on the outside and kind of show you the outside of the boat. So this is the outside. We'll start from the front. You'll notice, and I'll come around front and kind of show you what it looks like. It has, and they talk about, like a mini cat design, okay? And you actually got channels here, right there, to divert the air when you're running through. Keeps the motor from cavitating, runs good. I will say, even though she planes off good and she runs good, she's still a skiff. So in rough water, she does have some jump to her, you know. For the most part, you stay pretty dry, but she will get kind of choppy every now and then, especially in some rough water. But, you know, it is what it is. Your trailer, typical galvanized trailer. As long as you don't scratch that trailer or do anything to it, she'll stay like that forever. I shouldn't say forever, for long enough. Okay, Mako, typical galvanized wheels. They've worked great. Now, some of you have seen some of my videos. When we first had it, my son launched it or brought it back on the trailer, and we didn't have any guides. I got some the next day, but we put these guides on there. Got them from Cabela's or Bass Pro, pretty cheap. I think I paid around 30 bucks for them. All they are is just a little bracket there with a little piece of metal that's kind of rolled up to a 90, and you just slide the pipe on and off. Real simple. Okay, on the back, you have a little step to get in. Okay, got your lugs there to tie off to. You want to pull a skier or something. Now let's get in to the cowling. It's kind of hard to do one-handed. Okay. Now, very good. It looks very clean, and it will, because I spray the bow shield, T7 bow shield on. I spray it on there usually about once a year, and man, it keeps the corrosion down, keeps everything from rusting, having issues. I went the minute I bought the motor, since there's not an hour meter anywhere on there, I bought this from the place I bought the boat. Excuse me. And I put the hour meter on there. Okay. See, she's at, what is she at? I think she's at 22.2. Okay, so she's actually due for her first service. I did talk to the place, and I had conflicting stories saying if you don't bring it into a dealer for the first 20-hour service, Mercury will not honor the warranty. I'm going to find out that is not true. Just as they recommend you bring it in to have somebody look at, but as long as you change your oil and you keep records of it, keep what they use, what they suggest, you'll be fine. We'll show you the tilt and trim. I'll get this on. Hold on a second. Okay, so got the manual tilt trim here on the side. Okay. Let me cut that on. I want to show you something. This is one of the cons, I think, that Mako, and maybe I'm speaking out of term. I may not know what I'm talking about. I've had boats my whole life, but not really sure on this point right here. So one thing before I go to that tilt trim motor, one I want to talk to you about is right here. This is called your steering tube, okay? It runs right through here. When I trim it back down, I'll talk to you. In that steering tube, you have the arm that comes out when you turn the wheel, or comes in. In that tube is grease, and that grease over time, no matter if it's this boat or any other boat, it'll tend to cake up, it'll dry out, it'll make the steering real hard. All you have to do, simply take this off, this plastic screw right here, it's actually a cap, unbolt it here, flip this off, come around to this side, take this off right here, and this whole worm gear will come out. Now with this design, you have this lip right here, okay, which won't allow this to pull all the way out. You don't need to. All you gotta do is pull it as far as you can. When you pull it out, get you some good marine grease, rub it on there. I sprayed some LPS3, which is a rust inhibitor, corrosion inhibitor. Keeps it, it'll keep it from building up any rust and corrosion in there. Simply run it back through, attach everything on the other side, and just run your steering wheel back and forth, and it will loosen up, and it'll be just like butter, like the day you got it. Now here's what I wanted to talk about. So your tilt trim motor, the only thing I wish, and I shouldn't say Mako, I want to say every boat company, I wish they would coat it a little better. What I mean by coat it, like with a different paint or something, being the fact that it's always in salt water, just a simple paint job, you know, it doesn't last. So what I do to mine is I took that LPS3, or you can use Corrosion X HD, and I just spray the heck out of it. Okay, get it real kicked up, it gets real waxy. And what that does, that allows the salt water to just wash right off it, never penetrate, never rust or mess up your tilt trim motor. I put me a little Stingray. This one's called Starfire, but still Stingray. It's a little well tail. What it does is help get on plane. This boat, you know, the first day we ran it, we had to go and do the break-in period. Really didn't need it, but I like it because it just helps you plane off that much faster. So, you know, there you go. So, here's something else I want to show you. On this steering tube, you see this grease zerk here. When you pump grease into that, that doesn't necessarily go inside this tube for your worm gear. It will actually go on these hinges where the motor will tilt forward and back. So you think you're pumping in there and you're getting into the worm gear, but it actually doesn't. It goes around and to those hinge points. Let me see here. Back to good sign. Love that. Oh, excuse me. My wife actually made me, my TX numbers probably shouldn't be showing anything, but oh well. She made it out of it's called a fish camo. So that's pretty cool. But that's pretty much it, guys. Like I said, all the pros, it's a good running boat. I've never had any issues with the motor. It's real comfortable to ride in, to fish out of. A few cons I had, which was mostly just complaints, was what they did to me on this, and I blame the place I bought it. But you know, mistakes happen. You know, it is what it is. I've actually been back. I'm still good terms with the people, but it actually worked out because I wasn't going to use that as a bait well anyway. That's usually my makeshift dry box. I didn't show you underneath the center console here. Real basic under the center console. Okay, got your spot there. I'll walk around and show you. That's kind of just, you can kind of see a little bit of those tubes that are in there. She's a good boat. She runs good. I know a lot of people are all about speed. The problem with speed is there's no brakes on the boat. I've said it for years. I don't know what the hurry is some people have. There's the other side. Gets your battery box there. It's got enough room in there for 3 batteries actually. On my old 18 LTS, I actually had 2 batteries. I had it for 5 years, and honestly, no lie, I never once put those batteries on charge, but I had a splitter on there. On the kill switch there, you could go to off to 1 or to 1 and 2. So we're always using both. Had them run for different things. Never had an issue. So anyway, so there it is, guys. Very good boat. I would say the only thing to buy, like I did, I recommend is this pole. I guess I didn't explain to you what I do with this pole. Usually I'll put the anchor out, let the boat turn sideways, stake it, and just tie it off to here, and the boat stays perfect. I like to fish sideways out of the boat, especially on fishing with some people. You get more area out of the boat, you get the fish in, so that's why we do that. So there you have it, guys. That's our Mako 17 Pro skiff wrapped up in a nutshell. I hope they answered any questions. Maybe you were scrolling through YouTube to kind of look at, you know, compared to maybe what you've got, or compared to maybe what you've been wanting to see. I apologize about the camera work. My son usually helps me. He's got something going right now, so it's just me with this new gimbal I got, trying to make camera filming a little bit easier. Got this new mic. I hope it's working good. Cut the wind out. We're in South Texas. The wind's always an issue here. I do apologize. We'll be trying to fix that soon. Guys, thank you. This is Tyron with H.A.B Outdoors. We'll be seeing you later.